So welcome to the Dev Sprint 004, and this is our fourth edition. Today we are going to talk about the DevOps using Python. Okay, especially we are going to focus on the Python packages. So what is the agenda? So agenda is like how this DevOps came, what is the evolution of the DevOps, what is exactly the DevOps is, and what are the stages of DevOps, and reasons for using the Python for DevOps, and the final one is Python packages for the DevOps. It's very simple and a very neat a discussion we are going to have it now, and which is very basic, right? The first thing is, what is the evaluation of DevOps? Okay, before going to talk about this whole DevOps, it talks about a process. Okay, it's a life cycle. It's not like a programming language. It is not like any software. DevOps is not a software. DevOps is not any programming language. It's like a life cycle of the project, right? So before DevOps, what is there? So when you studied in your like in your engineering days, when you were studying the software engineering, the first we studied waterfall model, right? What is waterfall model, right? This is the first the model which is proposed for the companies. And for example, if you go back to the 20 years, every company started using the developing the projects in the waterfall model. Waterfall model is very simple, right? So we'll gather the requirement. After that, we'll analyze the requirement. Then we'll have a plan. So after that, we'll design and we'll go for the coding. After the coding, we'll do the test and deploy into the production servers like this. This is like a linear fashion. So every step will done one by one, right? First, we'll do the requirement analysis, then planning, design, build, test, and deploy. Okay, this is like that. So there are a lot of pitfalls on this waterfall model. So that's the reason. What are the pitfalls before going to talk about Agile? There are multiple pitfalls out there, right? For example, if you stuck with something at the especially when the waterfall model, high amounts of risk and uncertainty. So for example, not suitable for the projects where requirements are at moderate to high risk. And frequently when the requirements are changing, and it is very difficult to handle the projects in the waterfall model. I think most of you know it. Similarly, like, so to avoid that, we actually having the concept called agile. Agile is powerful, and also it has some pitfalls, but agile is based on the iteration process, right? So agile is actually iterative and team based approach to the development. This approach is like we can use it for the rapid delivery of application and incomplete of functional components. For example, if there is any new requirements, for example, you are using the iterations. So the mostly these iterations will go like 2 to 6 weeks. Okay. And it depends on the project architect, and it depends on the product owner and who is actually conducting the sprints. So they will decide like how many sprints will be there for each project, right? It goes like from this 2 to 6 weeks. It depends on the project and all. These iterations also we use the same thing. See, in the waterfall model, whatever the steps we use, same steps only we are using in the agile methodology also. But thing is, only difference is this design, build, test will continuously cyclingly we can change it. For example, you analyze the plan, and you have the design, and after then you done the build, and it will go for testing. When something is failing in the testing, again it will come back to the design, will fix the problem, again we'll do the code, and again we'll test it, and it will go for the deploy. So what is this? This is a continuous process when you are doing the agile methodology, right? But again, there are some issues with this agile methodology. About like, for example, in this methodology, what is there, right? For example, at the end of the iteration, so you are going to demonstrate the product, right? You are demonstrate product like what is the update of the each concept here. But in this agile, there is one limitation is there. Okay, for example, there are three types of the teams as there in the big projects. So look at this in the big projects, not in the startup companies, not like that. So big projects, when you are working on it, there are different types of categories, right? So developers, operations team, security team, like the 3 teams are there, right? But when developer is doing some work and he feel like it is working in system is perfectly, but when it goes to the same code to the production, he will see a lot of issues, okay? Because that is something, there is some issues because software is not compatible. I mean, whatever the libraries you use, those are not compatible, and the performance issues are there. Again, what this operations team says that, okay, this application is not working as expected in the production environment. Again, what they do, right? Again, they will come back to the development and they do the coding. So that means what is happening, right? Again, it is a time waste process. Okay, all the way you done the designing, build, test, and we went to the deployment. In the deployment stage, you have seen that there is an issues. Again, you have to come back, right? So to avoid this problem, and we got DevOps. So DevOps came in that limitations. So what is the limitation of Agile? So the dev team, whatever the work they are doing, the operations teams don't know, but they will find it out these issues in the operation stage, and they will give it back to the devs team, and this is something which is not working in the um, actually production environment, right? So that is one of the reason, right? So this is one of the limitations in the agile nowadays. So that is the reason most of the companies are moving to the new life cycle of the project. Okay, so basically we are talking about a project life cycle, how it works in the real time projects, especially in the bigger organizations when you are working with the bigger clients. Okay, so let's talk about what is the DevOps. So as I told you, it is actually like combining the development team and operations. So we have the development team and also operations team, and both will gather each other and they will share the information. Okay, so for example, you are doing, because like you can see in this diagram, it starts from the plan. So okay, the plan, code, build, test, and you release the product and go to the deploy and you operate it, and finally you monitor the product, right? This is how it works. Basically we are going to monitor the product here, right? So finally this plan, like when you plan something, when there is some issues, everybody will know it, what you are doing it. Your operations team knows what work you are doing at the development stage. Even your development team also knows that how work is, how the application is actually working on in the development servers, or like in the pre-production servers, or like production servers, UAT servers. Different servers will be there. Okay, if you look at my screen, DevOps mainly deal with the tools. You can ask me the question, okay, fine, I understand the life cycle. What I am going to do here? Yeah, there are so many tools are there. Okay, there are so many tools are there. Each tool we can use at the different stages. Okay, look at this. There are stages here. Okay, deployment is one stage, monitoring is another stage, planning, coding, test, build. So different stages we have it. Okay, and not only one. If you look at the bigger applications, and there is a test team is separate, deployment team is separate, and coding team is separate, and also we like a monitoring team is different, separate. So like we can separate the different teams. We can engage each other in the life cycle of the project, and everybody will know what's happening in the project level. So that is the reason this is now every company is using it, because it is a very robust way of handling the project, and it will give the nice results. Clients are very happy with this DevOps projects nowadays, right? That's one thing. Okay, fine. Okay, Raja, I am a developer. What areas I need to focus? If you are the developer, your main area, like with respect to the DevOps, is the Git, Zira. Okay, complaints. There are so many tools are there with respect to this. Whatever the tools which you are seeing on my screen, this is just like a few only. But there are hundreds of tools are there in the DevOps. If you go in detail, each and every tool is useful. But who is going to decide this tool is who can use, and who is going to define this tool, which tool can be used, which tool cannot be used. Okay, this is actually will be decided by, okay, this actually will be decided by architect in your project, and also it depends on the client. Okay, so depends on the client, depends on the nature of the project. We will decide that which one is going to use this one. So please everyone go. Hello, everyone go on mute. Thank you. So every stage we use the different tools. Okay, you have to decide that which tool you want to be work. Okay, so basically DevOps engineers like either you can select the development stage or you can select the operation stage. It's up to you like which skill you want to use, right? And one more important thing is the tools which you are seeing, it is mostly Java developers can use, right? But now point is today we are going to talk about Python's perspective. So I'm a Python developer. I want to use this tool. Okay. How, what is the way I can do it? Why Python is most selected tool for the DevOps? Because easily available. There are so many tools are available. Even if you see some of the tools is actually built on the Python language itself. Okay. So we are going to look into those tools in shortly, but you should understand that DevOps is like a life cycle of the project where we actually connect with the different teams like dev team, test team, operations team, and even like after the project went live. So some people has to monitor, right? There is a monitoring team is also there to see any issues are happening at the monitoring stage. So there are so many tools, right? If you look at this Ansible, this is a tool which we can use for the operations purpose. Even also we can use for the monitoring purpose. This Ansible is mainly like which is written in the Python language, right? So like some of the language, even Docker, you take the Docker is mostly we can use it in the Python language, right? So there are a lot of things. Even Selenium is also which is very popular nowadays. We can use both Java and Python as well, right? And also we have some builds like Ant build, Maven, Gradle. There are so many builds are there to build a product, right? I mean, to build a project into the server environment, deploy into the server environment. Okay. So we'll look into that. What are the developments, DevOps stages are there? So it's very simple. There are like people talk so many stages are there, but if you look at the high level, this is a version control. You'll have the code. You'll maintain the code there. Second one is the continuous integration. Once you have the code, you are going to test that code into the integration testing, and you are going to do the unit testing first, integration testing, user acceptance testing. There are multiple testings we do, right? Even regression testing, a lot of testing is there. Once you decide, okay, your testing results are okay, then we'll go for the delivery. Into first we will do the into the test environment, regression environment, multiple environments will be there. So like that. So basically like nowadays DevOps, when you are going for the development or deployment, we use the Docker, Kubernetes. These are all like containers. Okay. So why we use containers and all, we'll talk in shortly. And all these four stages will be monitored continuously because it is a continuous process. Everything is a continuous. So for example, today, development is delivered something to the deployment deliver operations team. So they will deploy and they will see the results. If there is some issues found, it is a requirement is not matched, again it will come back to the coding. So everything will be done within the iterations itself. No need of waiting for the till end. Okay, so this is one of the reason everyone is going for that, right? Now let's talk about the DevOps Python packaging system, right? This is something which is we need to focus today, right? So okay, so the first one is the planning and coding. So for example, at the early stage of the project, we do the plan and coding. There is no any specific planning tool, okay, with respect to the like Python, but we can use a Jira also for that purpose. Okay, apart from the planning, you write code, right? We use the version controls. Version controls are like you are going to place the code into the repositories, the cloud repositories especially. Okay, you are going to store your code somewhere, because not only you, like the multiple developers are accessing the code every day. They will push the code, pull the code. A lot of the development is happening there, right? So one of the most popular tool is called the Git, which is very popular. And to work on this Git in your Python, you just use the command called pip install git python. And once you ban, this supports only like above 3.4 versions. First 2.7 also if it is there, and no more 2.7 in future, because all we are migrated into the Python 3. Okay. And also we have this Jira, which is also can be used for developing the code. And we can use the pip install Jira, and it supports all the versions, but they are not mentioned in the official document like which version is going to be support and all. So that information is not there. but I could say that we can use till up to 3.7 because 3.8 is recently came right last year only, so which is not going to be suggestible, but if you can try for the development's perspective, right? And also subversions are there. SVN is, Java people know very well about these tools, but the point is here we can use these tools also in the Python by using the some of the libraries. The libraries are listed here: the Git, Python, Jira, SVN. These are the libraries which we can install it, right? And we need to be very careful which versions we are using it. This is the problem in the DevOps when you are using the Python, right? The version controlling, when you are using different types of the Pythons versions, you need to be very careful in that. Okay. Next one is, once you're done with the coding, what is the next step we are going to do? We are going to do the build, like to build a project. Normally in the Java projects and other projects, we use the Maven, Gradle. These are the tools, right? Even we use the Ant is also build tool, right? But to use these very popular tools in the Python, we have an option. Okay, there are libraries already built. So the pip install Maven, which is available. Okay, we can use that one, but it supports all versions of the Python, including the 2.7. And this the PyGradle is actually built by the LinkedIn company. So what they bought, right? They've improved this Gradle a lot. Okay, LinkedIn team is working a lot on this. They released very new versions on this. Okay, the pip install PyGradle, and it supports the all versions of the Python, including the 2.7. Why I mentioned the 2.7 still? But there are very old projects still running on these tools, because these tools are there from the years, right? So that is one of the reason. Okay. And also we can use, or after the build, we are going for the test. First one is the coding, next one is the build, and next stage is the testing. So how to do, what are the tools are there for testing? There are multiple ways we can do the testing, right? Automation testing, manual testing, and a lot of testings are there. Some people, it was the mobile applications, we have the mobile testing. So a lot are there, right? So let's focus about this. Selenium is the most popular automation testing we can use. For that, we use the pip install Selenium. Okay, so which is very powerful tool nowadays for the web scraping and as well as the automation when you are doing the testing, right? So it is also works very simply. We can use pip install Selenium, and it supports all versions of the Python nowadays, including the 3.8, which is very advanced and very updated daily, right? So daily basis. So JUnit, so basically we are not going to use JUnit directly, but we are going to integrate the JUnits with the JUnit XML's format. Okay, there is no directly we can use integration of JUnit for testing in the DevOps. Okay, we use this JUnit XML, and it supports only latest versions, not the old versions. That's what it is updated in the documentation. Okay, so this tool also can be used, but Selenium is the most popular tool and most demanded tool when you're using the Python with the DevOps. Okay, that plays very important role. Okay, next come to that. Okay, fine, you are done with the coding, you're done with the build, you're done with the what I can say that after the build also you're done with the testing. Next part is what? The continuous integration. The continuous integration is nothing but deployment, which you are going to mostly focus. Okay, so you are going to integrate these, like different environments will be there, all these different environments configured in the different tools. One of the most popular tool in the DevOps is Jenkins, which is very popular. And not only, so basically this is very popular for Java projects, and also we can use it in the Python by using these commands. Okay, you just run these commands, we can use it. It supports all versions except 3.8. Actually it is not tested in the 3.8, but there is some developers is saying that it is supporting even 3.8, but none of the project went live through 3.8. Just remember it. There is a build bot. It is especially built for the Python, and it is like a continuous integration framework for Python. And we can use this command pip install, which can also support. Okay, so no more support to 2.7. If you go to their website, they are saying that maybe in 1 month it is going to be stop the support giving on the 2.7. It supports only Python 3.x. And the next one is a Travis CI. This is also very popular continuous integration, which is also there for the Java.
Hello, Akka.
Not for you. Okay, so This basically supports different versions of the Python as well. Any
ఏమి
questions?
ఇది ఆపండి క్లాస్ అవుతుంది
Hello, please go on mute. Thank you. So like Travis CA is also there. So this is basically used for the continuous integration. These are the main tools, right? So like that, we have the after continuous integration. This is the most popular subject now, what we are going to talk now in DevOps. Whenever people say DevOps, in your mind comes immediately Docker. Okay, Docker will come in your stage only at the time of like deployment. When you are actually talking about the deployment, then only we use this. The continuous deployment, when you want to perform, then we'll go for the Docker. Like for example, you are a programmer, you are done from some project, there are some tools which you are using it. Those tools you write it in the Docker file. Those Docker files will keep it into the containers. That Docker file will be, when you build it Docker file, right, it will convert it into the Docker image. Okay, when the Docker image will be converted in all these Docker images, we can place into the Docker hub. The Docker hub will be deployed into the production server or pre-production server or different servers. So like the project A, you are using the one Docker file. Project B, some Docker files will be there. All these Docker files will be converted into the Docker images, will be stored into Docker hub. So what is there in the Docker basically? We are talking about the dependencies of tools. What are the tools we used in the project? Okay, what is the dependencies and all? So Docker plays very important role, right? Similarly, we have the Kubernetes, which is very popular nowadays. Okay, it is one of the hard skill with respect to the DevOps. This Docker and Kubernetes, which is very powerful. Okay, if you are going to work on the Kubernetes, first of all, you should know, you should have the Docker in your system, right? It should be configured, right? And it is actually Docker dependencies there when you are going to work. And the Kubernetes supports till 3.7. 3.8 is not tested, but till there are developers are using this one in the 3.8 well. Okay, 8 as well. And the last one is the like Vagrant. This is also which is very powerful continuous deployment tool, but which is very less used in the organizations. But most of the European companies, they use this. Vagrant is a tool, and if you want to use it in your system, you just install the Python Vagrant, and it supports more than 3.3 to 3.7. Just one hint here, for all these tools, okay, whatever you want to use in the Python, it supports maximum 3.7. 3.8, it like a doubt, sometimes works, sometimes some functionality may broke. Okay, so we need to be very careful on that, selecting the version names. Okay, last one, when you're done with the integration, deployment, and all these tools, what is the final stage? You're going to monitor your product, right? So we are going to monitor the client product, okay, how is going to work. So we use the pip install Ansible. Ansible is one of the powerful operating monitoring tool which we use in the Python with the DevOps combination, which is completely built on the Python itself. It supports all the versions of the Python from the 3.8, 3.5. There is a Datadog. Datadog is also a very powerful tool which we can use for the monitoring purpose. And Nagios is also there, which also can be used. These are all the very it is these three tools are like operator and monitors. Which team is going to use these tools? Operations teams. The first, the coding, testing. The coding is by development team, testing by testing team. So every stage, different tools are there. All these tools will use by the different teams. Okay, so operations and monitoring, right? So this Datadog, Ansible, Nagios, these all can be used for this purpose. The Ansible is the tool which we can use for the both operations and monitoring. But Datadog is for just for monitoring, and Nagios is also for just for the monitoring. Okay, which we can use. Okay, question comes to everybody. There are so many tools are using in the DevOps. Which tool is more important for each stage? I know according to the projects and applications, we are using the different tools, but what are those tools which we are using most? Okay. Tomorrow, when you are applying for the jobs, when you want to focus on your skills, so most of the companies will look at your resume like Git, which is most important at the developer's perspective. And the Docker, you should know. Docker and Kubernetes is a combination. You just keep it as a skill in the DevOps, and the Jenkins. So these are minimum things you should know in the in the DevOps. Okay. For example, if you're choosing the Python, Ansible is also should be there in this list, right? So minimum knowledge should be there on these tools when you say that, okay, I started something on the DevOps. Okay, at least you can put in your resume. Okay, if you go to the LinkedIn and if you look at the like job descriptions, all these are very common things: Git, Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, Ansible, and AWS. I'm not giving the more focus in this entire discussion, but the AWS, which we can use for the deployment in the cloud, but that is very specific, right? That is very like the Amazon is pulling us into the complete into their tool. Okay, in that AWS there are so many tools are there which we can use it for the this concept. Okay, so this is one thing you should also know, that which are the tools we use. Okay, what is the next of the DevOps? So most of the people say DevOps, right? But there is a pitfall in the DevOps. Okay, when you go with the normal DevOps and it is not giving the security. Security is the most concerned by the companies nowadays, right? Especially when you are deploying the project in the cloud environment. So that is the reason there is a new word came up called DevSecOps. Okay, it is DevSecurity Ops, right? So when you are DevOps with the security, that is called DevSecurity Ops, and security plays very important role here, because we need to maintain the confidentiality when there is a client data. That will give more compatibility, right? That will give more like confidence to the client. Okay, my code is there in the deployment in the cloud environment. How far it is secure, right? Of course you are hosting in the Amazon Web Services. So how we can trust like Amazon Web Services? Of course it's a trustworthy company only. So it's all will come to the matter. So when you are hosting your code into the some third party or like cloud integration tools, so security is also most important thing. So that is the reason now this the every project life cycle is little more to the securities. Now not only dev and operations teams, we are also engaging with the security teams now. Okay, this is something which is going to be focused. And also there is a new the proposals are coming from the different companies, and this life cycle is also going to be changed in shortly in the next year. Okay, but whatever you use, what is the whole concept here? If you look at that, we are going to use the many tools and many stages, and we are interacting with the one team with the another team. DevOps is simple like that. It's a life cycle. So we are continuously interacting with the one team with another team in short way, right? I'm the developer. I always engage with the tester. A tester will engage with the like different operations team, deployment team. Continuously this will go, will bring the product in the meeting the expectations, so what we expected, and not breaking any functionality, right? So that's where is actually this DevOps is the mostly ending up, right? So actually I want to give some demonstration, but actually we don't have much time. Okay, maybe in the next session I will plan for this. Do you have any questions, guys? Anyone have any questions before going to wind up?
Yeah, means Raja, one question here. Means what the use of this Maven?
The Maven is for the build. Okay, when you're done with your project coding, okay, so we are going to deploy the project, right? So we are going to deploy the code into the environment, right? I like production environment and all. In short answer is it will build your code, yeah, and it will create a war file, and we can deploy the war file into the servers.
So this Maven tool means what developer will do means like they whatever they write, whatever they wrote after that they put in the Maven tool, and Maven tool will build that particular code to that jar file,
Right.
and it will produce. Okay, okay, okay.
Not just.
Same work.
Hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, same work with Nexus also. Nexus also will do the same thing.
Yeah, these are all tools can all do the same thing only. Different tools are there. But if the question comes here, the Maven is the most popular for the Java projects. Okay. But the question
Okay.
comes here, how we can use it for the Python's perspective. So for that, we need to download the plugin. Plugin in the sense, install the plugin with the pip command, and we need to write some with the XML integration code. So then it works like that. Okay.
Okay, means we can integrate Maven also to use that Python code as well.
Yeah, yeah.